Hello and welcome to the 2018 Beaufort County Candidate Forum. My name is Ashley Van Sant. I'm publisher of the Washington Daily News, and I'm also on the board of the Washington Young Professionals Organization. And on behalf of both of those events tonight, both of those organizations, we'd like to welcome you here tonight. And thank you for coming. If you are a candidate, we'd like to thank you for your dedication and your commitment to public service. If you are a resident tonight, or just someone who is here to participate and watch the forum, we appreciate your coming here to be more informed about this election. These are all very important races for our community. The officials that are elected to these positions will go on to shape the future of our community. So it's important that we know as much as we can before we make those choices at the election. So thank you for that. A couple of quick housekeeping notes. We'd like to thank Beaufort County Community College for allowing us to hold the forum here tonight. We would ask that you please pick up any signs or campaign literature that you might have brought with you tonight on your way out. We don't want to leave anything behind, and we appreciate you doing that to be respectful. Another quick note, would ask that you also please be respectful as an audience member or a participant in tonight's forum. Please be respectful of the other candidates and their time to speak. A reminder that this is a forum and not a debate, and we ask that you please give them the courtesy to allow them to speak and share their views with you tonight. So thank you. I'd like to now turn it over to Catherine Glover with the Washington Beaufort County Chamber of Commerce.
Thank you for being here tonight. Our young professionals in the Washington Daily News are glad to co-host this event. Our young professionals range in age from 21 to 45, and they work and live in Beaufort County. They are diverse in professions, beliefs, and backgrounds, but unite with the mission of making Beaufort County a great place to live and work. The mission of the young professions is to connect, grow, and impact. By holding events like this, we are fulfilling our mission. We have other events scheduled in the next 2 months as well that include a jail tour, networking events, a tour of a new project downtown, a service project for Eagles Wings, and a few more. Our young professionals, they're always open and willing to speak to groups on what they would like to see for our county and being part of the plan for the future. We want to thank the Washington Daily News for letting us partner tonight for this event. And I want to quickly just recognize the young professionals that are here. We sign up for different things in the community that we're doing, and this group signed up for the candidate forum tonight. And that would be Stuart O'Neill, if you just stand up, Ashley Van Sant, Christina Jackson, Kayla Fox, Carmen Falk, Lindsay Harris, and Crystal Willard. And those are the ones that love the candidate forum and they wanted to be here tonight. And, 60 that are part of the group. Unfortunately, our kickoff last week got rescheduled in 2 more weeks, and so I think we'll have more that join. They're a great group of people to work with. So we're also thankful for our moderator tonight, Kelly Hopkins. Kelly Harris Hopkins began her career in 1998 and has been the Director of Elections for Beaufort County for 20 years. She was certified as a North Carolina Elections Administrator in 2001. Kelly received her bachelor's degree from East Carolina University with a double major in philosophy and psychology. Kelly lives in Belhaven with her husband Josh and 3 children, Morgan, Katie, and Harrison. So if you'll please give a warm welcome to Kelly.
And I'd really like to thank everybody for coming tonight. This is a great turnout. I've been to a lot of forums, and this is just great. And really happy to see the amount of people that are here tonight. And I'd like to thank the Washington Daily News and also the young professionals for their part in sponsoring this forum. We have a lot of people that come into the office and are always looking for information about candidates, so this is a great way for the candidates to introduce themselves to the public and the voters. Okay, I'd like to go over some rules, but before I do, the first contest that we're going to have, to be a little bit efficient, is the judicial seat for District 2. So if you 2 candidates would like to come on up while I'm going through the rules here, and for the other candidates in the audience, you can listen up. This is a forum, not a debate, so there will be no rebuttals or anything like that. All candidates were invited to attend. Candidates will have 2 minutes for an opening statement. Then after the opening statements, there will be 2 questions posed to each one of the contests. And those questions were prepared in advance by the Young Professional Steering Committee. The questions, you will also have 2 minutes. And the order of contests will be District Court Judge, North Carolina House, North Carolina Senate, Sheriff, and then County Commissioners. Okay? So we're going to call you up for your opening statement, and we're going to randomly draw your name out of the basket to decide who goes first with the opening statement and the 2 questions, okay? So we will go ahead and start with the District Court Judges. You want to pull it out so I don't see it? Pull one for me. So for the first openings, do you have any questions? Okay. Ms. Holmes, we've drawn your name first. This is Sarah Holmes, candidate for District 2, District Court Judge. The microphone is right there. Is the microphone's been put on? Yeah. Oh, and you know what? I skipped over something. Our time, folks, are down here in the first row. You get your 2 minutes. With 30 seconds to go, you're going to get your yellow sheet. And then when your 2 minutes hit, you're going to get the red sheet. And then I'm going to start talking. Okay? So are you ready?
Well, I don't know, because my daughter says, Mom, why do you always use 5 words? Why do you always use 50 words when 5 would do?
I understand. So. Sarah Holmes, District Court Judge, candidate.
Hi. Thank you for having me tonight. I am a native of Beaufort County, born and raised in Washington, went to Washington High School, went to North Carolina State after that, moved to Arkansas and went to law school in Arkansas where I was residing then. And as soon as I finished, I moved back because I missed my home state. I am a lifelong Republican and a conservative at that. I am running because I think I can do a good job. I've lately been working as magistrate for Hyde County, where I sit in magistrate's court, small claims. I hear in those cases, mostly landlord-tenant kind of disputes. And I will tell you that people say that I'm fair and honest and equitable, and I treat people as I think that they need to be treated. I'm a Southern lady, and my mother taught me that that's the way you treat people, and that's the way I think that we should treat everyone who comes in front of us. So I'm asking for your vote and saying I think I'll do a good job. 25 years of practicing law, and all of my different, I can't even say the word. In criminal law, I've done criminal law, a little bit of real estate, civil practice.
Thank you, Ms. Holmes.
Thank you.
And our next candidate is Darrell B. Caton Jr. with his 2-minute opening statement.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Darrell Caton Jr. I am a lifelong resident of Beaufort County. I graduated from Aurora High School in 1980, graduated from Carolina in 1984 with a degree in business administration, and in 1987 I graduated from Campbell University School of Law. In summer of 1987 I passed the bar, was admitted into practice and sworn in by someone you probably know and I have great respect for. That was Judge Hallett Ward. I was an associate attorney here. I'm a lifelong resident of Beaufort County. My feet have always resided in Beaufort County. I practiced as an associate for about 2.5 years. Opened my office in April of 1990, and I practiced continuously in the district courts of this 5-county district for over 20 years. I handled all kinds of criminal and civil district court cases. You name it, and I've tried it. A lot of experience overall. I had a solo practice. we had a successful solo practice. In the 20-plus years that I practiced, we opened over 5,400 new client files. I've represented folks you know, folks you respect, and folks came back to me. Since being on the bench, well, before going on the bench, they told us in New Judges School that you would develop a judicial philosophy. And I have. Mine is that there are no second-class citizens. Everybody's treated the same. Male, female, black, white, rich, poor, young, old, it doesn't matter. And that's the way I've handled cases. That's the way I would continue to handle cases. I appreciate your time, and I would appreciate your vote. Thank you.
Draw your names again, but I'm going to go ahead and read the question to you. Okay? So the first question is this. Beyond a law degree, what qualifies you to be a judge? So beyond your law degree, what qualifies you to be a judge? And I have drawn Daryl B. Caton. 2 minutes, sir.
Thank you. I think just general life experience. Practiced law a long time, but you know, in doing that, you interview tons and tons of people, and you learn a lot about people. I represented juveniles for about 15 years, about the only court-appointed work that I did, and I've interviewed hundreds of kids, and that really helps in sitting as a judge in custody cases. It helps in dealing with parents. I think life experiences, an overall well-rounded life experience is incredibly important for a judge, because that's what you're dealing with. You understand how people react to things. You understand things that are positives for them in their lives. You can't have a general district court practice. That's basically a people's court. If you know somebody probably who has been in court, probably it's district court. And having ushered folks through that system for actually over 31 years, since 1987, you get a good feel of folks and what their needs are and how you can help them. So I suggest that's my answer to your question.
Thank you, Judge Caton. Okay, now Ms. Holmes, and I'll read the question to you again. Beyond a law degree, what qualifies you to be a judge?
Well, beyond my law degree, I have worked as an assistant district attorney. I've worked as a public defender. I have been in private practice. I have lots of varied experience, and I also have a lot of life experiences. I went to law school as a single mother with a 3-year-old. I worked as a clerk 30 hours a week, putting myself through school. Graduated from law school, came back here and worked, supported myself and my daughter by myself for all that time. Sent her to ECU, wanted her to go to state, but you know. I've learned a lot over the years being by myself. I actually can handle a screwdriver. I know the difference between a flathead and a Phillips head, living by myself all these years. And what I've learned is that if you treat people with respect, this is what I learned in private practice, this is what I learned being a DA. If you treat people with respect, talk to them the way you want to be talked to, you can pick up a lot of things from them. You learn what makes people tick, and you learn how to deal with people in situations that often are fraught with anxiety, kind of like I feel right now. And not everybody who's coming into court really wants to be there. Most people don't. And that they just want somebody who can listen and be fair. And that's what I've learned after, 25 years of hard work.
Thank you, Ms. Holmes. I went to ECU over 20 years ago, and that state ECU thing, I don't think that's ever going to go away. Okay, second question. How will you balance being an independent judge and an elected official? Okay, balancing independent judge and an elected official. So we're going to draw again. Let's see. And Sarah Holmes. So 2 minutes again.
There's something about sitting there that every time I stand up blinds me. If I seem a little starry-eyed, that might be it. How will I balance being an elected official and an independent judge? Number one, I don't take any money from attorneys for my campaign. I don't have any outside resources coming into my campaign. So I don't have the influence from any attorneys. Nothing that I hear currently or in the future, should I win this election, will be determined by any influence by anyone who would be coming before me. I think that's very important to maintain independence. I think also that we have judicial standards, Canon 7, that tell us how we're supposed to behave, what's acceptable as a candidate, and what's acceptable within judicial standards. And before coming here, or before I actually filed to run, I pulled up those canons and I read them, because it's good to refresh yourself. It's good to say, this is what my parameters are, and this is where I am not supposed to cross the line. And I think that if you follow the law, if you don't allow yourself to be, to be influenced in any way, that it makes you a more fair and equitable and independent judicial official.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Dunn. And the question is, how will you balance being an independent judge and an elected official? You have 2 minutes, sir.
Thank you. I don't know that those are absolutely inconsistent, but when I took my oath of office, I swore to uphold the law, Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of North Carolina, and the laws that were provided. Now, you're not going to please everybody. So if the question relates to pleasing the public, my obligation is to do what's right under the law. Treat everybody equally, regardless of their sex, race, age, social status. But now let me point to something else. There's a group of folks over there who have contributed to my campaign, and I am incredibly proud of that. And let me tell you why. Court is an adversarial process. These folks opposed each other. Now, if you think that I showed bias to one side or the other, do you think that they would support me? Do you think these people might have somewhere else to be tonight than here supporting me? I can guarantee you that's the case. I am proud of every lawyer who's appeared in front of me and supported me. I represented people for well over 20 years. When they come in front of me, if it's somebody that I have represented, I say, Mr. DA, Mr. Defense Lawyer, I know your client, I've represented them, I can hear it, I don't have a problem. I don't think I have ever had more than 3 or 4 who said, basically, we don't want you to hear it. I have said many more times, I don't need to hear your case. I know things that just would not be appropriate, and as a result, my ethics require that I not. Don't you dare look bad at me because people who appear in front of me support me. It's an adversarial process.
Thank you, Judge Caton.
Thank you.
District Court Judge. So we appreciate both of y'all coming and sharing with us tonight. And the next contest that we're going to have, and we're calling candidates up, is North Carolina House. gentlemen are coming up on stage, I'd like to remind everybody that our one-stop option, which a lot of people call early voting, will be beginning this Wednesday at our office if you want to come in and vote early this year. Y'all can come on up. Okay, I see they're clearing the stairs. This year, we are running 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., Monday through Friday, at 4 different locations. We'll have a location in Belhaven, one in Aurora, one in Chappaquiddick, and one in Washington. So I'd like to welcome our North Carolina House candidates to the stage. Again, we'll have a 2-minute opening statement, and then 2 questions will be posed to each of y'all, and we'll randomly draw your name to see who goes, okay? Any questions? Fabulous. Okay, 2-minute opening statement. We will first hear from Jerry Langley.
Good evening, and first of all, I thank the sponsors for allowing us to have this opportunity to speak to you. My name is Jerry Langley. I've lived here in Beaufort County all of my life. I'm married to the love of my life, Alice, of 35 years. I worked hard here, spent my entire life here. I graduated Washington High School. I got my BS from Liberty University in Biblical Studies. Then I furthered my education to get my master's in Biblical Studies from Grand Canyon University. I was a deputy sheriff for 14 years, 11 years as an investigator, 3 years as a uniformed officer. I transitioned over to the Department of Public Safety, where I served as a surveillance officer for 17 years. I ended my career as a Judicial Services Coordinator. I've been an elected Beaufort County Commissioner for 18 years. I've been a pastor of Zion Grove Church of Christ, Disciples of Christ, for 7 years. What I'm showing you is service. That's what this candidate is all about, service. And in my professional career, I've dealt with people on the bottom of the totem pole, at the top of the totem pole. And one of the things that I can profess to you on this afternoon is I've treated everybody fairly. I've arrested people and they've come back to me and said, thank you. I've helped people on probation and they've come back and said, thank you. Because I'm all about people. People is what it is all about. A strong education system, economic development, clean water, senior care. It's all important. Let us do the right thing. I'm simply asking you, send me to Raleigh to represent you, and I will not disappoint you.
Good evening. Thank you to the sponsors of the event here this evening. I appreciate you setting this time apart. I appreciate all of you coming out here this evening to participate in our political process. It's a very important part of what America is. My name is Keith Kidwell, candidate for the North Carolina House of Representatives. It's very simple. My thought process is I have 33 years of fighting against the IRS for many of the people that sit in this room. There are dozens of you sitting there now that know I will go to the mat for you over just about anything to defend you from an overbearing government. I've had 40 years in management experience. I have helped literally hundreds of businesses get started in Eastern North Carolina over my career here. I run the local H&R Block. People rely on me to make sure that what they get from the government is not run over, that they pay what they're supposed to pay. I plan on taking that determination that I've learned in fighting with the IRS and the Department of Revenue and the knowledge of business that I have gotten over my lifetime up to Raleigh, because I think it's time we have somebody who writes a tax law that actually understands how it's going to impact you, the citizen. Because I guarantee you that's not what we have today. Somebody who understands when a regulation is passed on business, that the harm that can do to that small business, the jobs that it can impact, because we're not providing a good, friendly business environment. North Carolina has gone from 47th to #1 according to Forbes magazine in business friendly. We need to continue that. We need to bring that to Eastern North Carolina because we have not seen the benefit of that yet. My name is Keith Kidwell, candidate for the North Carolina House. I'm going to go to Raleigh and fight to keep your taxes low, to keep regulations off your back, and to grow Eastern North Carolina for business, for industry, and for education. Thank you.
go into the question portion. And the first question that we're going to pose to our House candidates is, what is the single most important issue that you would address if you're elected to office? So the single most important issue to you if you're elected to office. And I'll pull Jerry Langley.
The single most important for me is education. Knowledge is power. And what I like about education is this: we have the opportunity to empower our children to be successful in life. But in order to accomplish that, we have to make sure that we have the best quality teachers that we can possibly have. And we need to pay them an honest living where they don't have to work part-time jobs to buy school supplies to teach our children. Our children deserve a quality education. North Carolina now is ranked 37th in the nation in education. I think it's 40th in spending for education. We've got to change that. I have an old saying: you always get exactly what you pay for. Our children are our most precious assets. So it's extremely important that we empower them to be all that they can be. And so it begins and it ends with funding as well as with the teachers. I said earlier, you get what you pay for. Let's have the best teachers possible for our children. And I want you to understand this: curriculum is an important thing. Not every child who graduates high school wants to go to 4 more years of college. That's why I'm advocating that we keep the arts, culture, and the trades in the school. That way, when our children leave high school, if they want to go straight to work, they can earn an honest living, make great money, and have a successful life. That's why I'm all about education. Thank you.
You would address if you're elected to office?
And I have to say, Kelly, thank you for the question, but I hate that question. There is no one thing. There is no one problem. I was asked this question yesterday, and I was like, please, I can't even cut it down to one. But if you're going to force me to do so, I would have to say we've got to get government off of the backs of people in business. Okay? Government has overreached in every direction. You talk about education. The government controls not only what our children learn, which is a horrible program called Common Core, they even want to control what we feed the kids in school. That is ridiculous. Let's get the government off our back. Let's get the government off of business. Let's get the government out of your house. Let's make sure that what the government does is what they're supposed to do. Build the schools that we need. Bring in the education that we need to have. We spend quite a bit of our budget. 56% of North Carolina's budget goes to education. I would say what we need to do is look at how we spend that money and be more resourceful with how it's done. You want to bring more money in for the schools? Bring in more business. You'll bring in more business by being more business friendly. You broaden the tax base by doing that. When you bring in more business, you bring in more people. That brings in more jobs. That brings in more money. That's how the county is funded. Real estate tax, sales tax, income tax, that all comes back to the county. So the stronger, the better, the more vibrant our county is, the more money we're going to have to do the things that we need to do, which is going to include education, is going to include building our infrastructure. How long have we been waiting for Highway 17 to be completed? I've heard about this project since 1979. It's still not done. We need to make sure the government does what it's supposed to do and get out of the business of doing the things it's not supposed to do, and that's what I'll advocate for. Thank you very much.
We're going to give you 2 more minutes with the second question. Do you think public education is underfunded or overfunded by the state and why? You have 2 minutes to address the crowd, so you can use your 2 minutes to answer that question. Do you think public education is overfunded or underfunded by the state? Okay, let's see who goes first. Mr. Keith Kidwell.
No, that's actually pretty easy, because right now, as I said earlier, we have over half of our budget going to education. So we're going to run into a problem here. Yeah, how much money are we going to dedicate to a system that's not giving us the results that we want? So I would say what we need to look at is fixing the education problem. And I don't think money is always going to be the answer to that. Now, I'm not going to advocate to take away money. What I'm going to advocate for is to make more use, better use of the dollars that we have. How about merit-based pay systems for our teachers? You think that would be an incentive to have them do better? I've been in business a long time. I was promoted into management at 18 years old. One of the things I learned very quickly is if you treat an employee well, they're going to give you better results. When they give you better results, you can afford to pay them more because they're going to give you even better results. And I think we can do that in the education system very handily. There's a lot of things that we do everywhere in government. Is there anybody that believes that government is actually conserving your money? I don't buy that. I don't buy that for a moment. So we need to look for ways to be more effective with the things that we're doing. I think we're putting quite a bit of money into education. Let's get better results with what we're doing. Let's get the parents to participate in children's education. When I was a kid, my mom spent a lot of time with me studying. Believe it or not, she was an accountant at that time, and she ripped the adding machine tape off. Read me these numbers. That's how I started to learn accounting. All right? But parents need to spend more time with their children, less time on the cell phone and on the computers. Okay? Because that's where education begins, as at home. And if the parents don't participate, I don't care what you do in school, you're never going to be successful. So I'm going to advocate for let's do what we're doing, but let's do it better. Thank you.
Do you think public education is overfunded or underfunded?
I feel that it's underfunded, and I will tell you why. We have an education lottery that was supposed to have been dedicated to education. And what has happened, the legislature has taken the money. If that money would be returned to the school system for its intended purpose, our school system would be a whole lot better. We have to understand that the state of North Carolina funds by population and not by curriculum. It is more important that any child anywhere in the state of North Carolina who needs a particular class should be able to get that class right where they live. Those are the types of things that I'm interested in. And of course, how in the world can you change the status of teachers if you don't give them more money? You cannot give them more money with the same amount of money. Anybody who can do math, you have to realize that it takes more money to give someone a raise. And so we have to do the things that are essential to make education successful for every child in the state of North Carolina. When you look at Beaufort County is a rural county. And there are a lot of classes that are needed here that we cannot get basically because the funding is not there. We should always make sure that every child, when they leave high school, is prepared to either go to work, go to college, and have a successful life. That's why I say we need to do more for education. You cannot make education better holding on to the purse string. You got to let the money flow. You may look at me funny or say that man is crazy, but I'm telling you, our children are our asset. If you won't invest in children, what are you going to invest in?
Our portion from North Carolina House. I'd like to thank both you gentlemen for coming up. And there's also a set of steps over here, or you can go up that side, either way. And I don't know about y'all, but those two gentlemen leaving the stage, they could read the phone book to me, and I love hearing it. Their voices are just so, I love hearing it. Okay, so we're calling up our North Carolina Senate candidates, and while they're making it to the stage, I'd also like to say that today was the last day to register and vote for Election Day, but if you know anybody that needs to register, they can do that at one stop and come in the same day. So talk to me after if you know anybody that needs to do that. So we'd like to welcome to the stage our Senate candidates, Ms. Erica Smith and Mr. Chuck Early. And we're going to give you 2 minutes for opening statement and then 2 questions, and then 2 minutes for those. We're going to randomly draw a name, but who gets to do the opening statement first? Okay. Opening statement goes to Erica Smith. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Beaufort County, it gives me great pleasure to put my name in the hat to further represent Senate District 3. Now, I realize this is the first time in 150 years that Beaufort County was separated from the coastal counties. But I assure you, I will work just as diligently and as hard for you as any other state senator you have ever had. And I dare say I will work harder. My name is Erica Danette Smith. I'm a mechanical engineering by training. I'm an educator by trade, and I'm an evangelist by call. I serve as a minister in my local community, and I also represent now 8 counties in the North Carolina Senate, soon to be 6 counties, including Beaufort County. I have worked diligently for the last 30 years in community building and public service. As a new senator in 2015, I was awarded the Freshman Legislator of the Year. Now, I have been one to go beyond party, go beyond pettiness, to reach across the aisle and work on behalf of the citizens that I represent. In consequent and subsequent sessions, I have earned awards for Senator of the Year by the League of Conservation Voters, because I have a priority in environmental protections and justice. I've also won Woman of the Year by the National Organization of Women, and I've also won Woman of Political Courage for fighting hard on behalf of the citizens that I represent. I grew up in this district, I was raised in this district, and I have served this district now for over 30 years. I am one of us, for all of us. I ask for your prayers, your support, and your love.
Thank you all for coming. My name is Charles Early, Chuck Short. Grew up in North Carolina, been in part of this old Senate district with this young lady right behind me, a little town called Ahoskie. Left the area because of the poverty and the jobs stricken in most of this Senate district. Went to Ahoskie High School, served my country with the reserves, went into public safety, paramedic, critical care, flight. I'm a lieutenant down in Dare County. Started in Vance County, also Warren County, went to Rocky Mount. Been in education all my life because we're always studying and going to school. Dipped my hand in public safety, and I truly enjoy it. I'm getting ready to retire, and I'm going to have a lot of time on my hands. But the thing is that I decided to run because I saw the poverty, and our area has been left behind for so many years. And I saw it, and I want to try to do something about it, to go to Raleigh to fight for each and every one of you. And it's going to be a tough battle because some of these areas have been left behind for so long. And it's pretty shameful. But my name is Charles Early, and please vote early for Early. Thank you.
And we're going to kind of go back to the same that we did with the House. So the first question is going to be, what is the single most important issue that you would address if you're elected to office? Single most important issue to you. So let's draw a name. And we pull Erica Smith. 2 minutes.
Thank you so much. The single most important issue facing Senate District 3 would be looking at the calculations and formulas that are used in Raleigh and then integrating those formulas so they work better for Eastern North Carolina. In the district that I serve, we have a high rate of poverty. We are predominantly a rural agricultural society. So growing up on a farm in Eastern North Carolina, I learned at an early age what it means to harness the resources that are available for you and making sure we can use those to build a better way and a quality of life. If we look at education as a piece and a very important aspect of making sure that we can make those formulas work in Eastern North Carolina, we need to make sure that there are appropriations in place that will provide the resources that are needed to make students career or college ready. Anybody ever gotten in a combine lately? All of the farm equipment is now digitized. So there is very little that you can do in this state without a quality education. So when we look at the formulas, I'm talking about the formulas that go for the appropriations in terms of what the county commissioners have in terms to operate their budget to provide resources for their citizens. We have to look at those formulas so that we build an Eastern North Carolina east of I-95 that has just as many opportunities, economic development, job creation as our fellow North Carolinians have in Raleigh. I look forward to working very hard. I have sponsored bills. I have advocated for bills to make sure that we can have adequate appropriations and resources to make our part of North Carolina as strong and as great as the rest of North Carolina.
The single most important issue that you would address if you're elected to office?
Well, kind of like the same thing Keith Kidwell said, where do you begin? And I'm all about education. There's so much stuff that we need to do in these areas. I look in the county I was raised and spent most of my time in, and you look at the way teachers are paid across the state. One of the biggest things that we have an issue is we need to bring jobs here. We need to have a tax base. And when you leave this county, it gets worse and worse as we go down. There's so much that's needed in these areas, but education is the starting point. My biggest thing is pathways to education. We need to start taking regulations off these teachers. This Common Core stuff needs to go out the door. Let teachers do their job. Give them a starting point, a middle point, and an ending point. We need teacher housings in some of these poor rural areas. There's so much needed in these areas. It's almost like starting and building a home from scratch. And it is absolutely ridiculous. And that's one of the biggest things that I've decided to run, is we need to do better than what we have been doing. Education, when we created the lottery, well, guess what? When the lottery was formed under the Democrat Party, and I hate to say it because I used to be a Democrat. I was a proud conservative Democrat. But you know what? It is not the same party anymore. And what I saw with a good friend of mine, they took the education lottery out, they took the funding out of the education, slammed it on top. It really should go on top to be able to help different poor rural areas. And it is absolutely sad. Take a day with me and ride through my Senate district and you will be sorry that you ever left this county. But it is a lot of stuff that we need to do because they're good people. All they want to do is be able to have some stability. It's heartbreaking.
Thank you, Mr. Early. Do you think public education is overfunded or underfunded? So you can kind of continue on with that. So let's see who goes first. Erica Smith. Is public education overfunded or underfunded?
My name has been pulled first every time. That means you check my name on the box, vote for me first. I am a public school educator, and I almost jumped when she asked that question because I am happy to tell you I'm in a classroom every day. We are indeed underfunded. Yes, half of the budget does go to education, but we're not talking about K through 12 education. We are talking about pre-K through college education. That is the full entirety of this education budget. As was stated earlier by my opponent, we do have an education lottery, but the lottery was never meant to supplement. It was meant as a supplement to add on to what we are appropriating. It was never meant to be a supplant. I want to thank you for your patience. I drove 2 hours to get here from Raleigh because I know what it takes. I told Ms. Glover I'll be there by about 6:20. I would have been here before 6:27 if I hadn't gotten behind that bus. But I was careful because that bus with carrying precious resources. I have been fighting for appropriations to help Beaufort County and other counties who have suffered through Hurricane Florence. In this money report that my colleagues are debating right now, this will pass unanimously. I put the work in this morning and all day long so I could be here with you to let you know what's going on. Any community college students in here, you will know that there is an appropriation in this money report that will provide $1,250 for any student who has been displaced or faced hardship through Hurricane Florence. Education is underfunded. We are 39th in teacher pay and per pupil spending is atrocious. We're in the bottom of the nation and we must do better. It is easier, someone much wiser said to me, it is easier to build strong children than to fix broken men. We must invest in education appropriately so that we can grow ourselves.
And Mr. Early, do you think public education is overfunded or underfunded?
I think we just need to do some smarter things in public education. One of my biggest things is pathways to education without any debt. We need to start with our workforce in high school, doing kind of the same thing as transitioning, going to community colleges. Bringing shop, mechanic, electrical, everything, start back in the high school and then transition into the community college. These kids can have great jobs, be their own boss, and and have no debt in community. I mean, be it from community college or going through the transition spot. But here's the thing that I have an issue with. We need to start taking off these regulations like this Common Core thing and just get it off. Let the teachers be the educators because they are very highly intelligent to be able to do what they need to do. Our grade average throughout the state is all over the place, and a lot of it in our Senate district is tough. But there's so many things that we can do better with education. Do I think it's underfunded or overfunded or whatever it may be? I think the thing is we got to do things a little bit smarter in this state. We need, like I said, take off the regulations. We need to be able to support and back because our infrastructure plan within North Carolina, we have to have a good educational base. Look at our colleges. They look like Roman empires. Their endowments will help them if we back off a little bit to be able to do the right thing and support our base, especially in these poor rural areas. We have to bring the support. We have teachers or principals in this county, we can't even get math teachers here because they'll go to somewhere that has a better paying job. You go to Dare County, they're $20,000, $30,000 for as far as a stipend, and there's no way this county or any of these counties can pay for that. That's why we have to build our infrastructure. That is one of the things that will help this state.
Thank you, Mr. Early. From the stage, and also our sheriffs are up next, sheriff candidates. How long does it take to get from one end of the district to the other? Just say that. I mean, because we're...
When I was here, I did it in about 2 hours and 10 minutes.
Yeah, your district is very long, so we'd like to thank these folks. They're having a lot of ground to cover with the campaign, so thank you. Okay, and while we're waiting for our sheriff's candidates to join the stage, also another option for voting is to vote by mail. If you know anybody who can't get out or would just like to vote their ballot in the comfort of their lazy boy, you are able to do so. You just have to request one from our office. So if you know anybody that can't get out or would just like to have one mailed to them, let us know or visit our website and we'll be happy to help them. So now we're welcoming to the stage two of our sheriff's candidates, Mr. Tony Keach and Mr. Al Whitney. There is a third candidate on the ballot, Mr. Ernie Coleman, or Sheriff Ernie Coleman. Is anybody here? Okay, so we'll go ahead and start. All the candidates were invited to the forum. So we're going to start with an opening statement. We're going to draw. Y'all will go first. Okay, Mr. Al Whitney. 2 minutes for your opening statement. There's yellow cards and the red.
Good evening. First of all, I want to thank you all for having us here at this event. My name is Al Jr. Whitney. I live in Washington. I'm married to Teresa 25 years. I grew up in a small community in Pantica called Terrace Hill. In 1983, I graduated from John A. Wilson High School, which is in Belhaven. In 1989, I graduated from Elizabeth City State University with a Bachelor of Science degree in Criminal Justice. In 1990, I began my state government career, and my job included a correction officer, correctional sergeant, probation parole officer, and for the last 17 years, I've held a position as a juvenile court counselor. And after 28 years of judicial services with the Department of Public Safety, I'm seeking the office of sheriff because I feel that we, the citizens of Beaufort County, deserve the very best protection and services from my sheriff office. And I feel that I have an obligation to help create positive change. You know, as a sheriff, I would bring dedication, integrity, professionalism, and bring leadership to the sheriff's office, to this community. And I will display those qualities at all times. I will commit to fighting illegal drugs in our community. I will seek for the highest quality of training and equipment for our deputies, safeguard our homes, our schools, our community, and our future. I will increase officers' coverage and presence across and throughout the county to minimize crime, to reduce the officers' travel and response time, and to improve the interaction between the deputies and the citizens that we serve. I look forward to a strong relationship with other agencies to improve our public safety and to provide a safe, secure, better quality of life for the citizens here in Beaufort County. So I ask you on November the 6th, please vote for a positive choice for change. Vote for Al J. Whitney.
2 minutes for your opening statement.
First of all, I want to thank each and every one of you in the audience for coming here. That's what makes America, America. People coming out to vote and going through this process every 4 years. My name's Tony Keach, Jr. I live here in Beaufort County. I've lived here all my life. I was born and raised here. Even when I went off to Elizabeth City to Bible College, I came back every weekend because it was home. I want to be home. I've been in law enforcement now for over 15 years. Extensive different areas of law enforcement. Started out here in Beaufort County over 15 years ago. Sometime about after 5 years, I started working with the U.S. Marshals. As they need me, they call me. I've also, when I left the sheriff's office, I went probation and parole. So I have state, federal, and local level experience to bring the good stuff back to this office that I've learned and provide the most for you. I also am going to cut overhead and give you more services at a lower cost. You ask me how I'm going to do that? I run a business. I know how to run a business. I've actually signed the front side of that paycheck and the back side. So I know how to make profit, and the profit, it will be your tax money that I don't spend, so you won't have to pay it. We also, in this county, deserve better. I know we can do better, and together we're going to do better. I'm going to work with the citizens of Beaufort County. That's why I've handed out over 7,000 business cards with my telephone number on it. By the way, in case you don't get one tonight, pencil and pen, 495-0876 is the number. It rings my cell phone. I'll be there for the citizens when they want to talk to me, and I'm not changing that number when I win this in November. Thank you.
And the first question to our sheriff's candidates is, what is the biggest threat to public safety in Beaufort County, and how would you address it? So the biggest threat to public safety, and how would you address it? So let's see. Mr. Tony Keach, 2 minutes.
Loaded question. There's a lot of threats to public safety. But I would say the biggest threat is probably management. Management at the sheriff's office. When you don't manage your personnel and your equipment properly, you can't, everything stops. You have to know how to manage things, realize that you have too many administrators, cut the administrators back, put them on the road to provide more coverage to the citizens. Because, you know, if you don't have the coverage, your house gets broke into, nobody comes there. If it's the middle of the night, you're there, what do you do when you only have 5 deputies on the road and you need 6? You can't actually conduct the investigations the way you need to when you don't have the management properly set up to make sure things are rolling like they need to. Also, you know, when your management's not right, your jail suffers. And, you know, it causes headaches for the citizens because medical costs goes up in the jail and you gotta pay taxes. Management is the major problem for the public safety of this county, because if you correct the management problem, you will be able to touch on and hit all the public safety issues in this county and protect each and every one of y'all and provide the services you need and be able to get them, because my number is 4950876.
Thank you, Mr. Mr. Whitney, 2 minutes. The biggest threat to public safety in Beaufort County, and how would you address it? The biggest threat?
Well, again, you know, there's a lot of threats, but I would say one of the biggest threats that I see is working together as a whole. I see that if Beaufort County Sheriff Office will pretty much just kind of work together with other agencies, we can do so much better. As far as when you're down on the other side of the roar and you need a deputy there, there's no deputy in that area. If you got mutual aid agreement with another county, such as Pamlico County, they can easily come over and assist and help until the deputy arrives. That's why we need to build a relationship with other agencies. Once we build a relationship with agencies, then things start working out. You know, we can do things a little bit better. We have more support from others. We definitely need to, our sheriff office need to be more engaged. Our sheriff need to be more engaged in the community. Once you engage in the community, you know the needs and whatnots of the community. Right now, our sheriff, and I won't speak on it, our sheriff should be here. You know, he's our public figure in the sheriff office, he should be here. And a lot of people wonder what's going on, why we don't have our sheriff here. The reason is because he's not engaged. We are engaged. I'm here. I've been in this community all my life. I've been working with a group of people for the last 28 years. And my job is to make sure that they have the tools that they can get back out and be successful in life. And that's what I've been doing for the last 28 years, and that's what I want to bring to the sheriff's office. I want to bring that. Thank you.
And I just got these questions today, so I'm sure y'all didn't see them. But the second question is, do you think public education, whoops, wrong one. As sheriff, okay, we'll start that again. As sheriff, how would you approach community relations? So as sheriff, how would you approach community relations? Okay, and we'll go with Mr. Tony Keach.
I guess it's only appropriate to be first since you're listed first on the ballot. So when you get the sheriff, mark that first spot and we're good. How would I approach community relations? That's simple. The same way I've been running this whole campaign. I started July 5th in this county, knocking on doors, going to individuals' houses, speaking with them, finding out questions and concerns about the sheriff's office, learning a lot. You know, when you go and ask a question, you actually stand back and listen. It's amazing what you can find out. When you're not there to push your agenda, when you're there because you actually care and concerned about the person and about this county. I will continue to do that. Do I need to get my number out again? I think y'all might have it by now. Community relations, I am the people's sheriff. I know that the people put me in when they vote me in, and I will be there for the people. Doesn't matter black, white, purple, gold, Hispanic, all people. Doesn't matter if you're a supporter, doesn't matter the few doors I've had slammed in my face. When I become sheriff, I will still treat them the same as a person that shakes my hand and says, you got my vote. Because it ultimately comes down, I want to do this to make this a better county. And I know together we will make this a better county. and won't run from the hard issues like it's being done now. I'll stand there, and if I've done wrong, I'll admit to being wrong. We're all human, and I think people will respect that. If you go, we made a mistake, we're going to fix it, it'll never happen again. And that's how I will treat my community relations.
Thank you, Mr. Chief. Again, how would you approach community relations as sheriff?
Well, how would I approach community relations? First of all, I would get the chip on the shoulder. You know, I would sit back and I would say, look, you know, I know what the community needs. They need a leader. In order to be a good leader, you got to lead by example. You have to, if you expect the best out of someone, you got to give the best of yourself. So, you know, I would start out by being more engaged in the communities, building a relationship with other agencies. You know, there's a lot of agencies out there that's got a lot of resources. Let's bring our resources together and let's use our resources to build Beaufort County. Because, you know, there's a lot of issues here in Beaufort County that we definitely need to address, and they're not being addressed. As far as the schools, yes, I would work with the schools. The SOs in the schools, you know, I would give the principals the opportunity to have some say-so in who's placing their school. I mean, you just can't hire someone and just put them in someone's school and not even talk with the principal. My thing is, once you build a relationship with the principal, have them a part of the process, let them have some say-so, and then you go on and do what you got to do and hire. As a sheriff, my thing is, I would start out my day as a sheriff by 7 o'clock. I would be at the school. I would welcome in the students. I would welcome in the teachers and the principals. Every week, I would go to a school in Beaufort County. That's giving you extra protection there in the school until every school has been visited, and then I start back over. The sheriff time he's got a lot of leisure time. He's got time where he can adjust. He's got flexible time. So take that flexible time and put it into your schools. Keep our kids safe. Show the schools that you support the schools. Give these teachers and principals opportunity to know you, to meet you.
Thank you, Mr. Whitney. I'd like to thank our candidates for coming. We appreciate your answers to our questions. Our next contest will be county commissioner. So our county commissioner candidates need to make their way to the stage. And just a second ago, we were discussing candidate order on the ballot. There's been a lot of law changes this year. One of them is candidate order. Used to, candidates were placed on the ballot by the party of the governor, but this year it has changed to a random block. In January, I think it was, there was a Facebook Live State Board of Elections meeting where they randomly draw a number, and whether it's in alphabetical or reverse alphabetical order. So this year, candidates will be on the ballot starting with F through Z, going A through E in alphabetical order. So one of the things that I can tell you to do is get a sample ballot. They are a great way to educate yourself on what you're going to see on November 6th. So I'd like to thank all of our candidates here today that are here for County Commissioner. We're going to start with our 2-minute opening statements. Okay? Our first candidate we hear from will be Mr. Tandy Dunn. 2 minutes for your opening statement, and if y'all couldn't see it from the stage, we've got a yellow card and a red card here.
Yes.
Yellow card at 30 seconds.
Thank you. Thank you all for coming. It's nice to see so many different faces. In our Republican forum, I always got called first. Here I'm back first again. My name is Tandy Dunn. Yes, I am a male. My parents had a sense of humor when they named me. I was born in Beaufort County. I attended school in Chocowinity with Carmen's dad, and graduated from Bath High School. I then went to Chowan College, got an associate degree in graphic arts. Went to East Carolina University, got a Bachelor of Science degree in Business Administration, and I received a Master of Science in Occupational Safety from East Carolina also. I'm currently the Director of Health, Safety, and Environmental Affairs for Coastal Agribusiness, which has a location right here in Pantega in Beaufort County. I'm a United States Air Force veteran. Since 1980, I've been serving my community. I started off as an EMT, then was a police officer. I've been a deputy sheriff. I've been a fireman. I am currently on the Clarks Neck Volunteer Fire Department, where I serve as the secretary on the board of directors. Also serve on the Beaufort County Fire Association, where I'm the secretary treasurer. Have been so for 3 years. Lifelong Republican, well, at least 35 years. You know, originally everybody had to be a Democrat in Beaufort County to vote. Remember? You know, you could vote as Republicans or one of the Republican candidates. In 1985, I changed my party affiliation, and I have voted Republican ever since. I'm a fiscal conservative. I think we can do better with the money we're spending. There is no need to every year just add more money on top of money you're already spending and increase your taxes. So that's why I decided I'm going to run this time. I believe that there are things that can be done better. And I believe that we can do things without having...
Thank you, Mr. Dunn.
I never saw the yellow one.
Second chair right there. Okay, our second candidate for their 2-minute opening statement is Mr. Stan Etheridge. And do you see the yellow card down there?
I'll try not to run over.
Okay. Mr. Stan Etheridge, 2 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Nice, Kelly Hopkins. My name is Stan Etheridge. Some of you know me, some of you don't. I've been a county commissioner for 18 years, 5 terms. I'm from Beaufort County. I am a native. I want to see the county get better. I want us to do things better. But in order to do that, we've got to stop this fiscal train wreck, which is Beaufort County government. Right now, we are raising taxes higher and higher, 22% over 4 years, 16% in the last 2 years, and we're doing it on top of property values that are going down. That's making it harder for us to pay those taxes that are going up. Now, I've spent 18 years as a county commissioner. I'm the only proven conservative on this stage right now, one of 2 Republicans on the stage. Thank you, Dan, for being here. And I am here to tell you, if we don't do something soon in Beaufort County, we're not going to be able to continue to operate as a fiscally sound county. County commissioners do 3 things. We enact wise policy, we budget, and we perform oversight. If you don't do those 3 things, you do them well, everything will turn into a cyclone of craziness, and that's what we got going on right now. Now, I'm here to say I'm ready to help. Put me in, coach, suit me up, put me back up on that dais, and I will do what's right for the average, hardworking person in Beaufort County that has to pay those taxes and run their family. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Decker. And our next candidate we will hear from is Mr. Randy Walker. I'm doing that in order.
Hello, my name is Randy Walker, and I am running for county commissioner in this lovely county of Beaufort. I am, have been, if you've seen the commissioners on TV, I am responsible for that. For the past 20 years, I have taken the commissioners and put them on television. I haven't missed a meeting in 20 years. I think that gives me probably more experience than anybody running. And I'd like to say vote for me. I'm a 1981 graduate of East Carolina University. I have a degree in business management. I believe everything begins and ends with business. I'm certainly a lifelong resident of Beaufort County. My ancestors moved here 300 years ago. I'm owner and operator of G.W. Walker & Sons downtown. I've been there, this is my 59th year, together with my business partner, Carolyn. She's also my wife. She is on the school board, so education is very important to me. So is the maintenance in Beaufort County is important, and I am too concerned about spending with the county. I'm really concerned that we are losing population in Beaufort County, and I'm really wanting to see the population grow in this county, and there's ways to do it, and I hope you can vote for me, and I'm going to work on getting more people in Beaufort County. Thanks.
Mr. Frankie Waters.
Well, that's better than being last, I guess. She just introduced me. My name is Frankie Waters. I'm a native of Beaufort County, a product of Beaufort County Schools. Went to NC State, got a degree in agricultural economics. My first job was at Columbia, South Carolina, working with farm credit banks. Then I came back up here, went to work with Wachovia, now Wells Fargo, so I have 30 years of banking experience. In the year 2000, I went in business for myself. And now I do consulting work for farmers and agribusiness in North Carolina as well as Virginia. It's been my honor to serve as your commissioner for the last 4 years. In 2014, I was elected to serve all of the citizens in Beaufort County, not just a select few, not 10%, not 15%, but all 100% of the county. One of the first meetings I went to was the Fire and EMS Association meeting. I've been to every quarterly meeting over the last 4 years, so I get firsthand information about how poor our communications were when I first got to be a commissioner. I had a deputy tell me that when he was inside of the school, he could not talk back to headquarters. He had to go outside and make a telephone call. Can you imagine that? Suppose there was an active shooter at that time. You know, it's nice to say that you never had a tax, never approved a tax increase, never voted for it. The equipment was 20 years old. That's ridiculous. I'm telling you. Public safety is important. Paramedics, very important. In 2016, for the first time, our county purchased trucks, and we went with paramedics. Now the county has paramedic service all over the county. If you could dial 911, you're going to get a quick response, and you're going to get very skilled people. If you dial 911, you're going to get a very active law enforcement.
Thank you, Mr. Waters.
Thank you very much. Vote or win.
And our last candidate, and I'm starting to think maybe I need to play that North Carolina Education Lottery, Mr. Ed Booth.
You've done great. You saved best for last. I am Ed Booth. Grew up at Lake Station. Graduated from Panther High School. Graduated from Beaufort County Community College, BLET. North Carolina Driver's License Examiner School, North Carolina Administrative Hearing Officer School, done further studies at National Judicial College in Reno, Nevada. Married to my wife, Ethel, 4 kids, 3 grandkids, 1 great-grandchild, and a lover of Annell Griffith. Let me tell you, 4 years ago, I stood on this same stage right here, and I was told about a young man. He turned around and looked at me, and he said, "You're fired." I said to him then, and I said to you then, I love my job. Please don't fire me. I have done, ever since I've been a commissioner, I have missed 1 meeting in 14 years, and that was the death of my father. I have traveled this state, I've worked in this county, I've served on different boards, I have represented you well. I always say that I am the People's Commissioner. If you look on my pins and stuff that I give out, I say I'm the People's Commissioner. I don't see you as black or white, I don't see you as rich or poor, I don't see you as Republican or Democrat, I see you as a citizen of Beaufort County. And I ask you if you will, vote for me. I understand that these guys say it's not good to be last, but most of the time when you save the best for last, that's what happened. You're last. But I ask you if you will vote for me and send me back to Beaufort County Commissioner again. I will stand for what I believe in, whether I have to stand alone. When I was first appointed, I was appointed to 2-year term. I told you then I would stand for myself, do what's best for you. 4 years later, I promise you, if you vote for me, I will stand and do what's best for you. I can say this today, every decision I made since I've been a county commissioner, I made it with you in mind. I ask you again to please vote for me every day for 17 days. Vote for me. Carry me. Just make sure on November the 6th.
Thank you, Mr. Booth. We're going to move on to the question portion for our county commissioner candidates. And the first question that we're going to pose to you is, are the county taxes too high, about right, or not high enough, and why? Okay, so taxes too high, about right, or not high enough, and why? If I go in order this time, I really am playing the lottery. Let's see.
Yeah.
Mr. Stan Dethridge.
Not only are taxes too high, they're too damn high. A lot of you people are having a hard time balancing your budgets. A lot of you people are having a hard time making ends meet. The county is a taxing authority with police power. It has wide powers to take your money, garnish your wages, take your house. It can do all these things. And if it does not appropriate money wisely, by oversight, by wise policy, and by budgeting, a zero-based budget, you will get taxes increasing 22% over 4 years. Borrowing money, over $3 million of borrowing money, so they could spend more and not raise your taxes by $3 million. Eventually, it gets to a point that you wonder, are they paying attention to their jobs? Do they know what they're doing? Or are they just making all of you happy as your representatives? Well, I'll tell you, the commissioners here that have raised my taxes are not representing me. They may be representing you, but they won't represent me, or people like me, or people that vote for me. So, what I want to tell you, when you vote for a commissioner, you make sure that commissioner is going to go and take seriously the allocation of our valuable resources. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Dethridge. And our second candidate will be Mr. Randy Walker. Taxes too high, just about right, or low, and why?
We've just finished a revaluation segment, and I think it's every 8 years we do this, and about in that 8-year period, we have finished building a water department, and we've built an EMS department, and certainly we've always got schools to take care of, the buildings. So we have a lot of expenses, and in that time, I don't think we raised taxes. And we raised them just a little bit this time to pay for a lot of stuff that I think is important service. I don't know what service to cut if we had to cut something. Now, yes, there are little monies that I think we could do better at in spending, and I question one of the reasons I'm running is some of the little money. I noticed that in budget time, the commissioners go down a list and they pick the big numbers. And they say, what is this? And why are we spending this on that? I think we need to look at the little numbers. I think they're the ones that we could cut out and some of the fluff. We've got to ask ourselves, is this a need or is this a want? And I'm also concerned that we have a lot of outside county vendors that come in and do our work. I think we need to leave that money here in Beaufort County. So if we have to alter the way we do RFPs, which is a request for bids, I'm all for that. So some of the people here in Beaufort County can do the work that we need done. So I'm going to say that the taxes are about right. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Walker. We'll have 2 minutes to answer that question. Are taxes too high, too low, or right about where they're supposed to be? Mr. Tandy Dunn.
What Stan said. Our taxes too high. Yet we're going to continue to raise taxes if we continue the way we're spending. Our budget is currently a continuation budget. That means how much did you spend last year, and what do you want to spend next year on? So to do that, the taxes are going to go up again. I think we need to have a line item budget, and we need to stick with that. I agree with Randy, there are fluff that we need to get rid of. EMS, fire, law enforcement, that's my background. So those things are near and dear to me, and I think we need to have those 4 things and continue on with what we have, but I believe we could have funded it a little bit differently. I think when we start borrowing money to keep us from raising taxes. That's just hiding that we raise taxes, because you got to pay the money back, okay? You know, at your home, you get a paycheck. If you get a paycheck, you spend what your paycheck is. In the budget system, you determine what you want to spend, and then you determine what your paycheck's going to be. How do you do that and get away with it? We're continuing to do that. We need to stop that. We need to have lower taxes, but we need to have the services that we're providing. And I think we can do that by closely managing our money, paying attention to what's going on, and not overspending, just overspend. $4.7 million in water meters, folks. $4.7 million in water meters. If you got county water, or you still get water, is it fine? Do you need a water meter that's electronic? All this is just because it's a nice fancy gizmo. $4,500 of palm trees in Aurora. Do we need to have palm trees in Aurora at the boat dock? No. Okay? Elect me. I'm the last person on the ballot list. Thank y'all.
Thank you, Mr. Jones. Okay, our next candidate will be Mr. Frankie Waters.
This is what I've been waiting for. You know, it's real easy when you're not sitting at the table in the budget process. But I can tell you, when you sit behind the desk and you listen to the departments come in, and then you listen to all the outside agencies that come in and outside groups. This past budget cycle, we had over $4 million in additional spending that was requested. Let me tell you what happened. We just went through a revaluation. Our total valuation in the county went down 5.5%. So we went from right at $6 billion to a little over, well, about 5.7. So just in order to keep our same spending at that level, we had to have it's called revenue neutral. That tax rate went up 3 pennies. So we went from 55 to 58. But in order to fund the other things that were important to the commissioners that were there and were awake and listened to what the real needs were, the other 3.5 cents went to balance the budget on EMS. We had been pulling money out of our savings account for 2 years in a row, and that subsidy is $1.3 million, okay? So you take the $1.3 million, and at the same time, we had to request to add a school resource officer in every school, okay? Know what that cost was? $725,000. That's where your money went. So you tell me what you want to give up. If you live down in Aurora, or you live in Pantigga, or Pike Road, or Blunt's Creek, or Chocowinity, when you dial 911, you want somebody to call. If you live in the city limits of Washington, like some of the commissioners do, they don't really care about what happens in Pantigga, or they don't care what happens in Aurora. Amen? Let's hear it. Thank you.
And our last candidate, Mr. Ed Booth. And again, the question is, do you think taxes are too high, about right, or not high enough, and why?
Well, it depends on what you want. As we sit down and do our budget process, we look at surrounding counties. We are probably one of the lowest. We're not as quite as low as, taxes not quite as low as their county because of the big houses that they have down there. But let me tell you, the reason that you spend money now is because in the past you didn't do anything. You sat around and let things fall to pieces. Our courthouse, the windows was, when the wind blew, it was rattling all over the courthouse. The county manager's office, the parking lot at your office, the parking lot at social service, the parking lot at the emergency management center. How do you pay for it? One of my colleagues said you cut the little stuff. When you start to cutting the little stuff, you're cutting stuff from people that the least of us. Where you need to start cutting is greed. Where greedy people come in and start asking for what they want, and we raise our hand. That's where we need to start to cut. The little things, the little bitty things. Boys and Girls Club, $40,000. Hey, if we send one boy to prison or juvenile school, it costs us $65,000. Balance your money and see where it goes. I believe that if we continue to be a progressive county, we're going to have to continue to spend money wisely, number one. But we got to stop letting these buildings fall down before we start to do anything with them. That's what's happened to Beaufort County for years. The jail is another one. We're hauling people every time a rain comes. We're hauling people. And I'm not advocating for building a jail. It's costing us as much now than transport prisoners as the debt service would be probably on the jail. I would not vote to build a jail now because the cost is too high. But those are the kind of things that make your taxes go up, up, and up when you sit back and do nothing, nothing, nothing till the building fall down around you.
Thank you, Mr. Bates. And our second question to the county commissioners are going to be, or is going to say is, what is your perception of public education in Beaufort County? Perception of public education in Beaufort County. Okay. Mr. Frankie Waters.
Get a chance to go first one time. You know, I think that if you understand what's happening in Beaufort County, you have to go to the schools. Now, I don't go as much as my wife does. She picks up our grandchildren over in Bath 2 days a week. So she gets to go in there and she knows firsthand what's going on. I think we do an excellent job. We have 7,000 kids, and going back to the school resource officers, they're very precious. It's important in the budget process that we make sure we fund the schools. Our biggest concern that I've got in going around is that we still have a lot of portable units that, you know, need to be replaced, either with another portable unit or some brick and mortar. I think that one of the things that's different maybe than it was when Kathy and I had kids in school is that we have a lot of parent involvement. As you know, today we have a lot of people in the county that it's a single parent. So they're out trying to work, and when they come home at night, they don't have as much time to spend with the kids as we used to. I think we do good. We had 3 kids to graduate from Northside High School. One of them is a lieutenant colonel in the Air Force. He flew the F-16. Every day he flies 3 missions training new pilots. I have a son who's the manager of the cotton gin in Tennessee and the one in Fairfield. Here again, he's done extremely well. Got a daughter that started that at East Carolina, and that's where she met her mate. But she got a degree from East Carolina in accounting, and she's done very well. I think that we're providing the education. I think what we need to do is just make sure we keep providing at the county level, making sure that our buildings are safe and we have a secure school.
Again, what is your perception of public education in Beaufort County? Mr. Randy Walker.
Well, my wife's on the Board of Education. My daughter teaches kindergarten. I have 2 sister-in-laws that are both, one teaches and the other's in education. So I have to say that our education is fine. Now, along with the county commissioners, I take the school board meetings too. I've done that for 10 years. I'm going to tell you, we've got the strongest school board we've ever had. They're in the process right now of interviewing for a superintendent. They're going to put a strong superintendent in place. We're going to have good leadership. The commissioners, it's our job to make sure we've got good facilities. So you put a good looking school, good clean school with the latest technology and security in this county, you're going to have young people coming in here and wanting to come to school here. And that's what we need. More families, more people, and that'll all lead to business. And business leads to good things. I'm Randy Walker. Vote for me, County Commissioner.
Thank you, Mr. Walker. Okay, and our next candidate, perception of public education, Mr. Stan Dethridge.
I graduated from Beaufort County Schools, Washington High.
My children all graduated from Beaufort County Schools. I would like to say, at this point in time, I have to agree with Randy. Our school system is probably the top echelon that it's been at in all of the years I served as a county commissioner. I worked with many, many superintendents over the years, 18 years, gosh, probably 4 or 5 superintendents. Don Phipps, who just left, I think he went to Caldwell County, was definitely the best superintendent I ever worked with. And I pray that our school board will do the same job that the previous school board did when they brought Don Phipps in. Don was a good man who understands the realities of people and schools and how it all comes together to make a cohesive unit. His idea about schools was to educate them in such a way that they'd be able to go out and get a job. As you probably know, across America today, we have a lot of people graduating from high school and colleges that are not equipped to go out and get a job. They learn more about social studies and they learn about the sciences. They learn more about revisionist history than they learn about history. We need to change and overhaul our school system from top to bottom, be it from K to college. And it has to be done in such a way that we're educating our youth to become great American citizens. Because sometimes I am a little disturbed at what I see. In Beaufort County, we've done a good job over the years giving adequate buildings, more than adequate buildings, and we have to do what is right. And spending a lot of money on resource officers when there are other alternatives is the wrong idea. One of my cuts, if I get elected. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Dethridge. And our next candidate, your perception of public education, Mr. Ed Booth.
Well, my wife is on the school board. I don't have a child in school, but every child that goes to that school is my concern. I don't care who get a job, how you get it, but educate our children. And all these nice facilities that these guys are talking about that we have now, they cost money. How do you get it? The county has to fund capital improvements. You just can't go out and write a check. You don't have that kind of money. I'm grateful for the educational system that we have here. We have done a heck of a job with the resources that we have. I go back and say we passed a $33 million bond before I came a commissioner. And for years we did not raise your taxes one dime, and we absorbed those bonds. Stuff like that catches up with you eventually. You cannot always cut, because sometimes you have to pay. And when time comes to pay, you must have money in the bank to pay. But our school system is solid as it can be. And as long as I'm a commissioner, I'm going to see that it stays as solid as it can be. And I promise you, this is one commissioner that will not micromanage how these county schools are run or funded.
And Mr. Tandy Dunn, what is your perception of public education in Beaufort County?
So I attended Bath. My wife went to Washington High School. My daughters went to Washington High School. But I did start off at Chocowinity, so I know that school a little bit. And I'm a little bit concerned. First thing, in 2005 we passed a school bond. They forgot Chocowinity. Okay? Still have mobile units in Chocowinity. Why are we putting in fancy soccer fields when we still have students in mobile units? And I know plenty of people like soccer, and soccer's a great sport. We have a lot of kids, my nieces and nephews play soccer. But we should have worried about our buildings first before we put in a nice soccer field. We already got the soccer field at high school. So why do we need to know? So that's my concern. My other concern is teachers that are having to spend money out of their own pocket to buy pencils and paper and notebooks and crayons and glue sticks. Any of y'all got kids in school nowadays, they sit on a list home the first day of school, what products they want you to bring in. And you're buying enough stuff for every kid in the classroom, it seems like. But why? It's because our teachers are not being funded properly. How do we do that? Yeah, it's not raise taxes. is spend our money wisely. The state, when they implemented the lottery, it replaced the money we were giving to schools instead of supplementing the money we were giving to schools. And that's what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be a supplement, not a replacement. I'm the last person up here. I'm the last person on the ballot. Vote for Tandy Dunn. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Dunn. That concludes our forum tonight. The first folks I'd like to thank are the candidates themselves after 20 years in this business. And this is the folks on stage and the ones out there in the office. Running for, or in the audience, running for office is not easy. And you take your knocks, doesn't matter what political party you are or what contest you're running for. So thank y'all from the public for helping us and wanting to serve the community. Second, I would like to thank the young professionals in the Chamber of Commerce and the Washington Daily News. And remember, everybody worried about taxes, I have to prepare for 100% turnout, so please get out there and vote. And vote for